was born. Rick Woods, he was the first United States Speedway champion, and he went ahead and he was like on the program cover. He was on the advertising of the 1969 Costa Mesa Speedway. That was promoted, like I said, by the Godfather, Harry Oxley, and Jack Milne at the Costa Mesa Fairgrounds. And lots of people were going to where? They're going to Speedway. It was really perfect timing to start Speedway in that summer of '69. Speedway was really electric. I mean, that place was on fire. And then you had all these personalities. So you had the Bass Brothers with 8 United States Speedway championships, and you had the Rocket Rick Woods with 2. And then you had the electric voice of one of the greatest sports announcers of all time, the greatest Speedway announcers of all time, and that was Larry Huffman. He was really great. He could speak 120 words per minute. He was exciting, he was electric, and he was Speedway. Woo! Woo! And then he would announce some of the riders like Danny Becker, and he would do the Huffman hop. And he would say, Danny, Berserko, Becker! And he would do that hop. And the 70s introduced the first super fan of Speedway. And who was that? It was Gene. Gene, the dancing machine. Gene was there, and he was in the crowd. He was all over. He was on the wall walking Costa Mesa. And what was his famous saying? More beer! More beer! But we all loved Gene the dancing machine. He was cool. We all liked him. He'd walk that wall. He'd walk that wall. And he was drinking a little bit. And then he would fall and he would hit his nuts between the wood, and then he would sing in one soprano. And then you had the stands full of surfer guys and surfer girls, teenagers going to the Speedway. And you know what happens Teenagers, next. They like to drink alcohol, right? They like to drink beer. So there's lots of drinking going on in the stands in the 70s. The guys were really party animals. And then they got a little rowdy, right? They're drinking and they get a little rowdy.
Oh no!
And then there'd be a fight over there. And then a fight over there. There'd be fights, and then a fight over there. There's all kinds of entertainment. Why? The guys were fighting, they're drinking. And there was Speedway going on. So in the intermission, you'd have fights.
Napoleon.
And then the fights you get over with, and then you get to watch Speedway. Oh, I forgot about the chicks. There was beautiful chicks walking around, surfer girls. Gorgeous blonde and brunette surfer girls walking down the aisle between the crash wall and the stands, and all the guys were hooting and hollering for their favorite girl. Some guys liked the blondes, and some guys liked the brunettes. And they were hooting, hollering, and screaming for their famous chick. Those were the days, my friend. We thought they'd never end. It was fun, and we had a good times, and it was just amazing action at the Speedway. It was a good time. It was the glory days of Speedway. And who can't remember the castor oil smell mixed in with the nitro burning fuel? It was the sweet smell of the castor oil in the air. And then all all the little kids would jump over the wall and they would take those tear-offs from the track. The riders would take the tear-offs and throw them out. And who could forget those amazing Speedway riders of the 70s? You had Scott Autry. You had Mike Conley. You had Sumner McKnight. You had Troy McKee. You had the Bass Brothers. You had Billy Gray. A father knows best. Billy Gray. You remember that guy?
Oh, Bud.
Give me the phone, will you?
And then we had all these riders. Wild Bill Cody.
B.I.D.
We had Mike Caruso. We had all these famous riders. And then we had later Jeff Sexton. Of Farrell. We had Bruce the Fox Penhall. We had all these amazing riders coming in the latter 70s. The Speedway was amazing, and it was truly the glory days. The 70s was called the glory days of Speedway. Why? Because of the money. The riders were getting 30 or 35% of the gate. Plus, they were getting a purse for winning. So when they won, they'd get double pay. They would get the money from the purse, plus they would get the money they'd get from the gate. And that was a lot of money when you have 6,000 people paying. I mean, Speedway was hot. And it was the glory days for sure. Those riders were getting rich. Those riders were making all kinds of money. There was so many riders and so many celebrities. There were celebrities that we didn't mention, so I apologize if I missed your name because they were just full of characters. And if you missed that particular period of time in the Speedway, if you missed the glory days of Speedway, you really missed it. Those were the days, my friend. We thought they'd never end. But guess what? They ended. Even though the glory days of Speedway are gone, Speedway now is still amazing. The sport of Speedway is exciting. Speedway is a great sport, and we encourage you to support and enjoy this wonderful sport called Speedway. Thank you so much for joining us today down the road to memory lane, down the memory lane. And we talk about the early days, the glory days of Speedway, and they were glorious. Speedway's still special today, and so we appreciate all the riders of the past, of the present. Speedway is just a fantastic sport, and one of the greatest sports ever is what? It's called Speedway.